Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers and sovereign thinkers. Thank you for tuning to the LL3 podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the wild and wonderful Mountain State. And today's date is Friday, October 2nd, 2020. So let us begin. Well, my friends, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully everyone's going pretty great. It's funny, I was like watching the news a lot. Not a whole lot, but it's very boring what they have on the idiot box there. Regardless where you're at, unimpressive. Yep, I'm just, nice and chilly out here in West Virginia. Schedule is planned to head back to South Florida. Still got some work to be done up here, but I got all the time in the world, so it's all good. Well, I'm going to be mainly talking about natural rights, which is in reference to happening in Georgia. Got this email today from the Rutherford Institute, which I am a supporter of, and it came out today. Chicago police label sharing Christian faith as disorderly conduct. Block student from distributing religious literature in free speech zone. What the hell is a free speech zone? I always scratch my head. So, what it has to say here. The Rutherford Institute has weighed in before the U.S. Supreme Court on a case which campus police citing disorderly conduct prevented a college student from speaking about his Christian faith and distributing religious literature from a small free speech zone on a 260-acre campus. In the amicus brief filed, Uzagbunum versus Perzeski, Rutherford Institute attorneys asking the Supreme Court to hold officials at Georgia Ginwit College liable for violating college students' Uzagbunum's free speech rights and ensures that campus policies adhered to the First Amendment. Affiliate attorney Michael Lockerbie of Foley and Lardner LLP in Washington, D.C. assisted the Rutherford Institute in advancing the argument in the Uzagbunum case. I'm butchering his surname. Forgive me there. So I'll continue on. The case reminds us that there's no room for trust and relationship between the citizenry and the government, said Constitutional Attorney John W. Whitehead, president of the Rutherford Institute and authored of Battlefield America, the War on the American People. Trust the government to police itself, and it will sidestep the law at every turn. The only way to ensure that government officials obey the law and respect the rights of citizenry, as Jefferson recognized, is to bind them with the chains of the Constitution. And it says that's a fact. Uzagbunum is a Christian and was a student at Georgia Ginwit University, which has a 260-acre campus in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Chike's faith required that he share his religious belief with others. He sought to do so in 2016 by passing out literature and speaking to students about the spacious concrete plaza near the college's library. A campus security officer stopped him and warned that Chike could not distribute written material there because he was not in one of the two speech zones the college had established. Under the college's policy, students were required to reserve times for one of the two speech zones, which consisted of one patio and one sidewalk that amounted to 0.0015% of the total area of the campus. The policies also require students apply for a reservation at least 3 days in advance and gave college officials unbridled discretion to decide who could speak, when they could speak, and what materials they could give out. How flamboyant of them, right? Although Chaik properly reserved a time for sharing his faith from one of the zones, he was again stopped from speaking by a campus security officer. The officer told him that because someone had complained about his speech, he was engaged in disorderly conduct under college policies. Cancel culture. Cater for the Orwellian snowflakes. That's right. So the Orwellian snowflake made it a complaint. That person's offended. I don't care. Chaik then brought a lawsuit against the college alleging that his policy and their application to prevent him from engaging in religious speech violates the First Amendment. After months of litigation, the college moved to dismiss the case as moot because it had changed its speech zone policies, and the trial granted the motion. Chaik appealed, arguing his case was not moot because he was entitled to nominal damages for the interference with his First Amendment rights, but the appeals court upheld the dismissal. Chaik sought was granted review by the U.S. Supreme Court. In his amicus brief supporting Chaik, the Rutherford Institute agrees that dismissal of the lawsuit violates long-established court precedent, affirming the rights of citizens to obtain an award of nominal damages against the government officials which they violate the person's constitutional rights. And I love John W. Whitehead, but I always say it's natural rights. The Rutherford Institute is a nonprofit civil liberties organization, defends individuals whose constitutional rights have been violated and educates the public about the threats to their freedoms. So it's interesting. So I took the time to read I didn't read the amicus brief, but the very beginning is a fact that Georgia Jesuit College is a public institution, and it's funny because it's according to Lawrenceville, GeorgiaGA.org has a thing on colleges and universities, and they do say it is a public institution. And to me, I love challenging these people. I think it's great because I remember one time a bunch of us went to that Ron Paul rally in 2008 that had a debate at FAU at the auditorium. So when a bunch of us went down there, had my American flag and so forth, I was representing, and I see a bunch of firefighters and officers in the baseball field. They had to try to assign them to the baseball field, okay? And we're like, what the hell is this? Oh, we have to be here. I go, this is public. And it was fun because we had FAU students with us attest to that. Said, yep, it's a public institution. So we challenged it. It was peaceful. And everyone else rallied. We had people, and it was cool. I got to admit one thing. We had a bunch of anarchists was questioning Ron Paul and, talking about he's against this, against that. And, I'm not mad. I was just like, hey, let's go talk to him. And we had a good conversation. So those guys out there, hopefully you're doing well. But the fact is this, come to free speech is a public institution, according to Lawrenceville's, Georgia's website. And like it says here, Lawrenceville is proud to be home to a number of higher educational opportunities, including Georgia Gwinnett College, the nation's first 4-year public college created in the 21st century and Georgia's first 4-year public college to be established in 100 years. So yeah, it is a public facility. And what's funny because they decided to do the whole public safety thing. I was reading through this thing on the GGC's website about the duties of officers. And someone made a complaint, right? Yeah. On, integrity? About the officers. This is under code of ethics now, okay? I'll leave the link on my Spreaker page. You can see it for yourselves. And it's funny what it talks about here about the public safety officers pledged to follow the law enforcement code of ethics. As a law enforcement officer, my duty is to serve the community, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression and intimidation, and the peaceful against violence or disorder, to respect the constitutional rights of all liberty, equality, and pursuit of happiness. Wow. I'm just wondering, had they actually decided to make this a reality here? Very disturbing, and a lot of contradictions. I'm just wondering if they did add it to it after this case. So, and it's funny because the whole thing, when they use the term moot, the legal definition is from legaldictionary.com. Free dictionary. It says here, moot, an issue presenting no real controversy. Moot refers to a subject for academic argument is an abstract question that does not arise from existing facts or rights. Moot court is a curricular or extracurricular activity in law school where students have an opportunity to write briefs and present oral arguments on a hypothetical cases. I don't know why they call this a moot. This is totally ludicrous in my book. So it says here the adjective about the moot is an adjective here. Unsettled, open to argument, or debatable, specifically about a legal question that has not been determined by any decision in any court. Or two, an issue only of academic interest. So that's what we mean about moot means. So I will add that to the memo. So it's funny because when I was reading the brief, it actually went to the federal court. How come it didn't go to state? Because based on what they've done, this is a public college. Okay? Georgia Tech College is publicly funded. Tax dollars and all that. And it was disappointing because it should have went in that area. Because if you read Georgia's Constitution, Article 1 Bill of Rights, Section 1, rights of persons, in its paragraph 1, it says here, life, liberty, and property. No person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property except by the due process of law. And you got paragraph 2, protection to person and property equal protection. Protection of person and property is a paramount duty of government and shall be impartial and complete. No person shall be denied equal protection laws. Looks like here, this Chike has got the laws deprived. And of course, freedom of conscience, paragraph 3. Each person has a natural and inalienable right to worship God, each according to the dictates that the person's own conscience, and no human authority should in any case control or interfere with such right of conscience. Religious opinions, freedom of religion is 4. No inhabitant of this state shall be molested in person or property or be prohibited from holding any public office or trust accounted on religious opinions, but the right of freedom of religion shall not be so construed as to accuse acts of lasciviousness or justify practices inconsistent with the peace and safety of the state. And of course, he's handing out literature, right? Freedom of press guaranteed. No person shall be passed to curtail or restrain the freedom of speech or the press. That's 5, paragraph 5 now, okay? Every person may write, speak, and publish sentiments on all subjects, but shall be responsible for the abuse of that liberty. If he's talking about Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior and preaching saying the message from the biblical scriptures, how is that an abuse of that liberty? How is it egregious? It's not. You're not threatening anybody. So, of course, protection of citizens. All citizens of the United States resident in this state are hereby declared citizens of the state, and it shall be the duty of the General Assembly to enact such laws as will protect them in the full enjoyment of rights, privileges, and immunities due to citizenship. That's 7, paragraph 7. Right to assemble and petition. The people have the right to assemble peaceably for the common good and apply by petition or remonstrance to those vested with the power of government for the redress of grievances. That's paragraph 9. And the whole thing with the speech zone and all that, you can call this a ex post facto or retroactive laws or bill of attainder. It's paragraph 10. No bill of attainder, ex post facto law, retroactive law, or law impairing the obligation of contract or make it irrevocable grant of special privileges or immunities shall be passed. We got one here too about enumeration of rights to denial of others. The enumeration of rights is 29 now. The enumeration of rights herein contained as part of this Constitution should not be construed to deny to deny the people any inherited rights which may have hitherto enjoy. So there's these multiple paragraphs of Article 1, Section 1. This person has been breached. And they like to use the separation of church and state. Well, according to Section 2 of Article 1, origins, the structure of government is called. Paragraph 7 reads, separation of church and state. No money shall be taken from the public treasury directly or indirectly in aid of any church, sect, cult, or religious denomination or of any sectarian institution. So they can't use the separation of church and state with this case. So the fact is this. His rights have been deprived. And it's unacceptable. I don't care who it is. If someone does that, if someone hands out stuff about why they support abortion, they got that right to speak their mind. As long as you don't violate others. Critical debates, honorable discussions, that's good stuff. It's really essential. But when you got these little Orwellian snowflakes, oh my goodness, they're talking about something I don't believe in. Help me, help me. It's pathetic. It's for cowards and wussies. That's what they get about these Orwellian snowflakes. They're from all paradigms. People don't know how to talk to each other. All they want to do is complain, me, like a bunch of beakers. Me. That's all they can do. Well, I find it very deplorable. And I hope this case will be in his favor. And so, good case here, yep. Very good case. You should look it up. So I'll definitely add this to the footnotes, everything I discussed here. So, what's your intake? Let me know. You pro free speech? I am. And I didn't have to use the U.S. Constitution on this, the state Constitution. And an interesting thing here too, even if Lawrenceville, whoever, the funds from the state of Georgia, needs to call these people out as well. If your money is going to these colleges, people in that state, including Lawrenceville, should raise awareness that you never ever use a moot on these particular cases. Because if this person's right, Mr. Uzagbunam, it can happen to you. So justice for Chaik and anyone else that's pro natural rights, including freedom of speech and peaceably to assemble. That's across the board. Declaration of Rights, Bill of Rights, State Bill of Rights, Federal Bill of Rights. Government keep out, including a little weasel from the college police. Unacceptable indeed. Well, that will be it. I made this one pretty brief. I thank everyone for listening. Plus, feel free to download and share us throughout social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or if you want to send something that's interesting I should check out, whatever you do, please send your correspondence with decorum. Furthermore, I'll leave the footnotes of this article on my Spreaker page. If you want to do a donation, you can hit me at paypal.me/LokiLuck3. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Minds. This search engine, you'll find me everywhere. And hit that like button too, wherever you're at. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember, That demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading love, and may our guardian spirits be with you.